everyone, welcome to another session of Webinar Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today our topic is on Shortlist and Compare. These are two different tools that we have on EdgeProp, but I put them together because they can be used hand in hand, okay? And I'll be sharing with you guys how it works basically. Okay, now, but before further ado, let's get started. Just a quick disclaimer, and very importantly, for those of you who are new to our training, okay, if you don't know who is your account manager yet, please take a screenshot, take a photo of who is in charge of you, or even better, take down their name and number, okay? We have three ladies here, Celeste, Zuki, and Sherry. They are your account managers. So depending on which agency you are from, please look for your respective AMs. They would be able to help you not just for signing up or renewing, but if you do need any form of help, maybe like, oh, I need this kind of info, which tool should I be using, or if you come across any technical issues, they would also be able to assist you, okay? Of course, sometimes they may be busy, they may be in the midst of a meeting or a training. We have an alternative number that you can reach us at, which is our office hotline, okay? So if you look at the screen on the top left hand corner, 6232-8688, you would be able to reach us at our office during office hours 9 to 5, okay? Of course, anything after office hours, please still look for your account managers. Now, before we get started, I also like to share some of the new products that we have introduced in the last couple of months. One of it is called EdgeProp Plus, which was launched early during the circuit breaker when everyone was stuck at home. Okay, so what we did is we collaborated with the developers to actually create virtual tours of the current show flats in Singapore. Okay, of course, not all of them, but we have a library of more than 20 of the current show flats in our database, in our library, which you can access for free by scanning the QR code on the top. Okay, so these projects may be marketed by different marketing agencies, different maybe ERA, Propnex, or Hattons, or Orange Tea. Okay, so we do cover across different agencies. Okay, so if let's say you are marketing one of it, you might also be able to find the virtual tours belonging to your corporate agents. Okay, so do check it out. And the second QR code at the bottom, guided show flat virtual tours, these are pretty unique because what we do is we got the developer's representative or their appointed project ICs to actually go through the entire show flat with you. That means to say it's not just for the show unit, but rather you would be able to find out a little bit more because they will go through the things like the site plan, the model, the show unit itself, as well as the floor plans, okay? And then they would also share with you the key selling points of the particular project. So if you like to learn a thing or two, okay, or to actually explore the virtual tours before showing it to your clients, this would be pretty useful. Another thing is, some of you might be saying that, oh, actually now no need already, now already phase 2. So is it really necessary to show virtual tours? If you ask me, I feel that it is something that is here to stay. With the changes, I mean, regardless of whether the virus condition is here to stay or not, but it does really help in terms of managing your time as well as your client's time. Sometimes you may have buyers who don't have that much time to visit every single show flat. So this is a good way to actually narrow down before going down to the final few show flats that you might want to be recommending to them. Okay, so do check both QR codes out. And then we have another product called EdgeProp Cast. This was launched sometime in, I think, phase 1, sometime in phase 1. And what is the difference is that EdgeProp Cast is for videos, okay? So think of it as the Netflix, but for property. So over here, you'll be able to find all the videos relating to property. It could be videos marketing a particular listing, or it could be also videos that is for educating the public, okay? So if you are an agent, you can actually teach the potential consumers, okay, potential buyers or sellers, why they should buy, why they should sell, what they should look out for, okay. It could also be videos on interior design, okay. So if you are one of the agents who actually create your own videos, okay, do join us here. We have, I think, 70-80 agents on board already, more than few hundred videos already. So don't miss out. This is currently FOC, okay. So give it a shot, give us a shot. Of course, we will try on our end, we will ensure that the quality and the relevance is there, of course, okay. So do submit your video, do submit your what you have with you right now, and if it meets the requirements, we will put it up for you, okay. So you'll be able to probably get a lead, or even do some form of branding, okay. So if you need to understand a little bit more, you can also reach us at the contact number on the screen right now, 9452-9197, okay. Now, lastly, to market a little bit on my product, so I have this new session that is called Ask the Trainer. So if you don't have, if you wish to spend a little bit more time with me, if you find that the weekly trainings are still not, are still too generic for you, okay, or you wish to be able to tackle a specific situation or scenario that you might have with a buyer or seller, and you need some form of help to know what kind of tools or can be useful for your situation, do register for a session with me. It will be a one-on-one session. Yeah, so please, if you register, make sure you turn up, because it's very hard to find someone to replace your slot if you don't turn up, okay. And also because there are really very limited slots. So every week we will only have 5 sessions, and from what I understand, my August sessions are full already. So we only started marketing this like yesterday for the August sessions, and they are full. So the next available slots would be on the 1st and 8th of September, remaining 10 slots. So if you want a slot, okay, if you have a situation or scenario with your client that you need, if you think that I will be able to help you with, do quickly register for a slot, okay. If not, once my September slots are full, I won't be able to open up new ones already, okay. So thereafter, it may be a while before I open up newer slots, okay. So of course, please don't try and book once every slot 1 week, every slot one slot a week, okay. I won't be able to entertain the same agent again and again because there really are limited slots, okay. So if you book a slot for September, the next time you can book a slot would be in October, okay. So at least basically once a month, okay. Now, let's go to our training proper for today. We will be covering shortlist and compare. So what I'm going to do now is to toggle to the website. Okay, so you see that I am on EdgeProp.sg right now. Okay, so what you need to do, if let's say you want some hands-on, or at least you know where I am at, I am using the website, not the app for this. Of course, if you wish to use the tools shortlist as well as compare on your agent app, you are able to do so, okay. Just take note, of course, the interface would be slightly different, okay, but in terms of the functionality, it is pretty much the same. So if you're on the website edgeprop.sg, where do you find the tools? What you shortlist as well as compare, what you need to do is mouse over tools. So if you mouse over tools, you'll be able to see all the free and paid tools that are available for both shortlist as well as compare, these two that I'm highlighting right now. these two are under the paid tools that allows you to do your CMA, comparative market analysis. Okay, so what is the difference, or how can these work together? Okay, so just a brief before I actually even go into the tool itself. Okay, compare allows you to create compare projects. Okay, allows you to create a comparison report. Okay, you can compare up to 10 projects. Okay, and you'll be able to compare them based on pricing, rental, trends, as well as transactions. Okay, what is the difference for the other tool called Shortlist Projects and Transaction is that for Shortlist, it allows you to identify properties in a district. Okay, so if you want to find out projects within a district, you may not be that well versed to know every single property in the district, right? So this is a good way for you to find out the properties that match your requirements or your buyer's requirements based on district search. Okay. Of course, if you look at the title, it's called Shortlist Projects and Transaction. So it also allows you to shortlist transactions. That means to say, I want to find out all the transactions for this particular district or districts that happen at a certain month or year. You can do so using Shortlist Projects and Transactions as well. Okay, as well. So I will quickly touch on that more in depth later. But let me first start off with compare. Okay, let's start off with compare. So I'm going to go tools, compare projects. Okay, so over here, I am in compare already, compare projects. And what you can see here is that you can compare properties from any type. Okay, I can compare HDB blocks against HDB blocks. I can compare different apartment condo projects. I can compare landed. However, do take note, because landed, if let's say you're comparing by street, probably it's going to be quite hard to compare with a limited number of properties in the street, on the street. So what we do is, if you select landed, it has to be part of an estate or a project name. Okay, so that means to say I can put Serangoon Garden Estate, or I can put Frankel Estate, Opera Estate, or if this particular landed has a project name, okay, you can also key in the project name. Okay, same thing for commercial industrial, it will be based on project name. Okay, so commercial, maybe I can do like Lucky Plaza, and then for industrial, I can say Vertex, for example. Okay, of course, same thing, if let's say I'm looking at standalone industrial, then it would not be possible to do a comparison. Okay, so if you're talking about factories along a certain street, standalone factories, we won't be able to compare. Okay, now, so for an example, I will use a condominium. Of course, if you do wish for me to try any other property types, let me know in the live chat. I will try to, if time permits, I will try to accommodate and show you some examples. Okay, so feel free to leave any questions that you might have in the live chat, either my account manager or myself. If let's say I need to do a demo, I will answer you guys. Okay, so let's say I am comparing condo. What I need to do is to key in the project name, okay, and add them into the portfolio. So let's say today I have a client. My client is a buyer, okay, and my client is considering between Pandan Valley. So you just need to key in the project name, Valley Park. Same thing, wait for the drop down, click on the drop down, Flamingo Valley, and which other valley do we have? Okay, Loyang Valley. Okay, so one thing you will notice, why am I using such examples? Okay, while these all have the word valley inside, these are obviously from different locations. So when you actually choose to key in your own project names, you can actually key in any project in Singapore. Okay, they need not be in the same vicinity, neither do they need to be in the same district. Okay, so there's no restriction in terms of the property or projects that you key in. Okay, how many names can I key in? Up to maximum 10. Okay, so over here there are some other filters that I need to put in. First and foremost, we have the time period. So over here you can see I can select 6 all the way to 36 months, as well as custom. What is custom? Let me just show you. So if I select custom, I can go as early as January 1995. Okay, so if you want to compare since a long time ago, okay, the performance of the projects from long time ago or a specific time period, you can do so by selecting custom. Okay, if not, in most cases, if let's say in my current scenario where my buyer is looking to buy a property now, okay, chances are you would want to refer to maybe a more recent time period of about 6 to 12 months. Okay, now other things. Okay, so now that I'm in condo, I can also select the subtype if I want to, but technically speaking, with the project names inside already, it doesn't really matter. Okay, unless you specifically want to further filter down again. Okay, you can also put in the size that your client is looking at. Okay, what we'll do is we'll only identify the transactions that matches the size that you put in. Okay, so maybe I'm looking for a 2-bedroom unit that is about 750 to 1,000 square feet. So I can put that in, and when I compare these projects, I will only be comparing all the units of the same size. Okay, so if I don't put in the sizes, I would be looking at the overall performance of all these different projects. Okay, including all the small units, including all the big units. Okay, next thing would be the chart type. So by default, we would be looking at the vertical bar. Okay, however, if you wish to see the charts in other methods, other formats, horizontal, line, or area, you can do so. Okay, later I'll show you some of the differences. You can also see the projects based on per square foot or quantum. Okay, and lastly, you can choose to rank them. Okay, so if I click over here, you will notice that these are some of the key performance indicators that allows you to compare the different projects based on how these properties are doing. Okay, so earlier on the top, you see that I have selected the time period last 12 months. So when you actually look at all these headers, we will be looking at the average price for the last 12 months, the average rent for the last 12 months, rental yield, sales volume, and rental volume. All these would be based on the last 12 months. So that means to say, if you see sales volume 5, that means last 12 months sold 5 units. Okay, quite clear cut. The only thing that is different and not reliant on the time period that you select is capital gain. Okay, this is because it is very hard. Okay, so if let's say I selected last 12 months, how would I be able to identify, or how would I be able to calculate the capital gain based on last 12 months? If the person bought 5 years ago and sold last year, is it considered part of the last 12 months? Okay, so what we do instead to calculate the capital gain is that we take into account the transactions that happen during launch, okay, during the first quarter of the launch, and we compare it to the most recent transactions, the latest quarter where there is recent transactions, to see whether if a person had bought during the launch period, okay, and if they were to sell it today, okay, what kind of capital gain would we be looking at? Okay, so that's the only performance indicator that is not dependent on the time period that you select. Okay, now that aside, why is it important to rank by? Okay, it really is more for you depending on what your client is, what is important to your client. Okay, we may want to rank them. So for example, maybe my client is buying a property for investment. So rental yield, he wants to find properties with the highest rental yield. So we can actually rank them by rental yield. Okay, or maybe he says that I want to find a property that is cheapest of the lot. So you can rank by price. Okay, you can choose highest to lowest or lowest to highest. Now let me just quickly click on refresh portfolio here. Okay, so over here you will be able to see the 4 projects that I have keyed in, maximum 10, repeat again, okay, and all the different properties of this property. Okay, so we have the tenure, we have the completion, number of units. Now for minimum, average, maximum price, sales volume, rental volume, rental yield. So anything from here all the way to rental yield, these numbers are based on the last 12 months as per the time period that I selected earlier. Okay, so if you change the time period, remember to refresh the portfolio and the number would be different. Okay, the only thing that will stay the same is your capital gain. That means to say for this 2.2%, okay, it is as early as launch period all the way until now. However, special case, in cases where projects are much older, okay, these two, it will not be based on launch, but it will be based on as early as January 1995, okay, because for our transaction information, okay, our transaction details, we get it from URA, and they only have record from as early as 1995. So this capital gain would be the price in 1995 all the way until the most recent prices. Okay, so that's how we actually work out the capital gain. However, for Flamingo Valley and Valley Park, which was launched after 95, take note, this is the completion. So sometimes they are launched a bit earlier before completion. We will base on the most initial transactions. That means when it is building under construction, newly launched, okay, the first quarter of that launch, okay, and you'll be able to see whether these people are making profit or loss if they choose to sell today. Okay, now below we also have the price comparison. On the top there I have selected vertical, so this is the vertical price comparison. All these you can see when I mouse over, the numbers would pop out, or I can choose to interact with it to remove or put in certain of these fields. Okay, also I will be able to download or print the chart, individual charts, in the format that I like. Okay, of course if you want the mouse over effect when you do when you copy the image, the only way is to screenshot. Okay, because if you do a download, you will not have the mouse over effect. Okay, so one thing I also like to highlight, because I noticed that some of you guys are wondering how to read these charts. Okay, when you're looking in the vertical format, okay, what we are saying here is that the prices, okay, the minimum, maximum, and minimum, average, and maximum would be based on these amounts that is stated here. So we are not looking at how we are not saying that for the minimum 1588 is this amount all the way until it is until here, but the average price would be higher. So if you don't want to confuse yourself, my suggestion is to take out the other two so that you'll be able to understand the prices better. Because some of you may be wondering, why one is longer than the other? Technically it is not. Okay, but if you are not so familiar, you're a bit confused here, my suggestion is to actually use the line chart instead, because the line chart tends to be more easy to understand. Okay. Wait, suddenly my charger got problem. Okay, so if you're not so sure, my recommendation is to use the line chart. Let me just show you it again. Now the same thing in the line chart, you'll be able to tell what is the pricing a little bit better. Okay. And then we have the rental comparison. Same thing, all these are interactive. You can choose to take out or remove anything. You can do a mouse over and you can download the individual charts. We also have the price trend. This price trend here you can see is from August 2019 until July 2020, which is the last 12 months as per the time period I selected. However, if you wish to have a longer time period, remember the change on the top and the timeline will change here accordingly. Okay, lastly, we also have the latest 100 transactions across the different projects that you have selected. So regardless how many projects you select, we will show you the latest 100 in total. Okay, same thing for rental contracts. And all of these, okay, so that's all the way. All these you can actually print to PDF. Okay, so if you are serving a client and you want to give your client a report, okay, so instead of having individual charts, you can give a report that covers everything from overall comparison all the way to rental contracts. So here it is. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit. So you can see your own photo, your details here, when you're in your own account, of course. The comparisons in the format that you have chosen. Okay, so usually what you do is when you're serving a client, you would give them this comparison chart first, and maybe after looking at all these, they feel that, or after you have gone through the details with them, they say that, oh, in this case, I want to consider Loyang Valley. Okay, and then from there, most of you would be more familiar with this other report called research. Okay, so basically it's a home report for that project only. Okay, so you can print the home report for Loyang Valley. Okay, so one is more for comparison and one is just zooming in on all the transactions, the nearby amenities, the project fact sheet that can be found in research. Okay, I see a question. Let me see this. Doreen, regarding capital gain, how is the average price determined as there are different sizes in the project? Okay, so basically what happens, assuming, okay, let's say Flamingo Valley was launched in 2010, okay, 2010 January, okay, just to make it simple, I'm quite sure it is not, okay. January 2010 was the very first transaction that Flamingo Valley had. Okay, so what we do is we take the average within the entire quarter. That means January all the way to March 2010. All the transactions we average out. So we don't zoom into a particular size of the project, but as a whole, we will take the average price for that entire quarter that the very first transaction was taken from. Okay, and then after that we will look at the most recent transaction for the project. So if let's say Flamingo Valley was last transacted in July 2020, okay, so July 2020 is part of Q3, right? Is it Q3? June, April, June, July. April, May, June, July, August, September. Okay, so Q3. So what we'll do is we will look at the average price of Q3 in 2020 versus when it was launched, the very first quarter, and then we will compare from there. Okay, I hope that answers. Okay, so now that we have more or less looked at the comparison, okay, what if you are serving a client but your client doesn't know the project names? Okay, so if you don't know the project names that you want to recommend to your client, what you can do is to use the tool called Shortlist. Okay, maybe your client says that I am looking to buy either District 9, 10, or 11, or 15, 16, or 19, 20. Okay, maybe they have a certain district in mind, but they're not so particular on which part of the district. Okay, so you want to find out all the properties that matches the minimum requirements of your client. What you can do is to use shortlist. Okay, if you want to search by district, it would be shortlist. If you want to search by vicinity, it would be location scan, which we have covered last week. Okay, so let me click on shortlist projects and transaction, and let me explain to you how it works basically. Okay, so over here you can see I have the first filter called shortlist projects or transaction. So if I want to know what are the projects in this district, okay, that are performing well, okay, what I do is I select by projects. Okay, same thing, time period is exactly like what we saw just now. So my recommendation is usually last 12 months. Unless you are looking at a certain time period, then you can choose to custom. Okay, what kind of property are you looking for? So in this case, in most cases, you guys are searching for apartment condo. But it is also possible to say that, oh, I want to find out all the HDBs in this HDB town. Okay, I can actually choose HDB, or I can say that I want to find all the landed projects or estates within the district. I can do this. I can select this as well, or I can also find the commercial and industrial within a certain district or districts. Okay, you can even select the type of sale. So if I only want the transaction projects with new sales, okay, in this time period that you have set, you can do so as well. I can put in the budget of my client. Okay, so over here, the only thing that is probably slightly different is that you can select the districts, or even in this case, whole of Singapore. So maybe your client has absolutely no idea about the districts. He just tells you that, look, I just want to find the properties with the highest rental yield if I were to buy and rent now. So you can actually use this and select the whole of Singapore. Of course, if not, you can select one or more districts at one time. Okay, regardless, later when we actually click on shortlist, the maximum number of results that would come out is 200. Okay, so we'll show you the top 200 projects that match your requirements. Okay, so that in this case, rank by is actually more important as compared to compare just now. Because compare, you can compare maximum up to 10. But here, if my results show you as much as 200, it becomes very important to rank by what is important to your client. Okay? Okay, and then of course, if I only want certain properties belonging to certain tenure, age, or that has certain sizes, I can put it in here accordingly. Also, I can choose to show prices in per square foot or quantum. So just now I showed per square foot. So in this case, let me show you quantum. Okay, let's see what's the difference. So in this case, I selected D9, 10, 11. I want to find apartment condos in D9, 10, 11 that no, I didn't fill in more of it. So that has the highest rental yield. Okay, so just a simple one. Of course, with more filters, you will have more you will zoom down a bit more lah, huh? Okay. Okay, so this is district 9, 10, 11. So you can see that apparently based on last 12 months, the project with the highest rental yield is called Jia, followed by Loft at Holland, Jervois. However, okay, when you are looking at the results here, please also take note on other factors, because anything from the price all the way to the capital gain, these are your key performance indicators. Okay, this is based on how these properties are doing in terms of pricing, whether there's any transaction volume or not. So in this case, what we do to work out rental yield, is to take the average price per square foot. Okay, so now I show you quantum, but we'll use per square foot, and then we base on the per square foot rental to work out the rental yield. However, it is also important to look at the sales volume and rental volume. Okay, because in this case, for instance, for Jia, okay, the sales volume is only 1. So in this case, the average price, whether it's quantum or per square foot, is only based on that one transaction that happened. So is it truly the rental yield that can be achieved? We won't be able to tell. Okay, of course, with more volume, it would be more reliable. So if you see that sales volume is 1 or 2, chances are I wouldn't really recommend these projects, okay, because that it really just shows that there isn't much activity going on in that project. Okay, so of course this is based on last 12 months, so you can actually adjust the time period. Of course, with the adjustment of the time period, it would also affect the the average prices and everything else lah. Okay, so do take note. Please look at the different numbers in totality. So for instance also, when you're looking at the sales volume and the rental volume, please also take into account the number of units. Okay, because we want to know as a percentage, is it a lot of the units are rented out? You can also have a gauge from here. Okay, and also you want to know whether are there a lot of transactions or not. Sometimes you see the number is very small, but maybe the volume is very small, but it could also mean that because the number of units is small also, or vice versa. Okay, so I see a few questions right now. I thought I'll just quickly answer them. Okay, firstly for Benjamin, if we select minimum size 800 to 1000, will it compare only prices within this range? Yes, only within this range. Okay, so that means to say, maybe for example, if let's say I have, so let's say Jia, okay, assuming this sales volume 1 was the unit size is actually 1002 square feet. So in this case, this wouldn't even turn up because sales volume would be 0. Okay, so this one is assuming all the transactions because I didn't put in a size. But if you are zooming into a size only, we will only reflect the transactions for that size. Okay, next question would be Perlin. May I know how to delete portions I don't want to show in the, I would assume, the vertical chart. I believe you are referring to compare just now. Okay, let me just open a new window. Okay, make it easier. Okay, so let's say I am comparing. Okay, actually I shouldn't I shouldn't just open. Never mind lah. Okay, let's say I do something like just now. So let's say Valley Park. Okay, and Pandan Valley. Yeah, you can put up to 10. I'm just using this as an example. So let's say you have the vertical chart over here, and you don't want to show certain portion. So what you need to do, if let's say I don't want the minimum and maximum, I only want the average. On the top, I will click on the header to remove. Okay, so now I'm only showing average. And if I download the chart, let's say I want a PNG file, okay, it would be based on the file that the file that I create. I don't think you can see it from here, would be as per what is shown in on the screen. Okay, so it will just show this particular bar only. So, or if I don't want average, overall average, I can take it out also. So all these headers is interactive. You can choose to remove, add in. So let's say I only want average, and then I still can mouse over to show average. Okay. For shortlist, can we search by street? Unfortunately, no. Benjamin, for shortlist, you can only search by district. Okay. However, if you want to search by street, my recommendation is to use another tool called location scan. Okay. However, for location scan, it requires you to set a landmark, and then we will scan the radius rather than along the street. Okay, so hope that might work for you. Okay, it is pretty much similar to shortlist, just that you set a landmark and you set the radius. So the landmark could be that, oh, my client wants to be near Sengkang MRT. So Sengkang MRT is my landmark, and I will set within 1 kilometer away, example. Or it could also be my client, I'm doing a new launch and I want to find out the properties nearby to my new launch, okay, within 1 kilometer from my new launch. I can also set the landmark as the new launch project that I'm doing, and I'll be able to find out the resale market nearby. Okay, resale or even other new launches nearby also can lah. Okay, so you might want to explore location scan for that. Okay, now going back to shortlist here. Okay, so I have all these results. What I can do in addition, okay, so just now I am on the top, I have ranked by rental you. So how do you know I am now ranked by rental you? If you see all these headers here, rental you has a caret arrow pointing downwards to show, which basically means highest to lowest. So if the arrow is pointing upwards, it is lowest to highest, okay? So actually, all these headers here, you can click, okay? It is the same for compare as well. So if let's say I want to rank by capital gain, okay, I can also click here. Now the arrow is on capital gain, okay, pointing highest to lowest. And now I'll be able to tell that Amaninda is the one with the highest capital gain, okay? So all these headers here, you can click and play around with it. Okay, it will sort them accordingly. Okay, even by project name, you can do A to Z, Z to A also can lah. Okay, now, of course, if let's say I just go back to rental yield highest to lowest. Okay, so over here, with as many as 200 results coming out, your job is really to look at all these numbers, usually by page 1 lah. So depending on what you have ranked by, I would identify the projects that I want to recommend to my client. Okay, so maybe, for example, I would want to recommend RVH. Why? Because I see that at least there were quite a number of sales volume. I think the 1 and 2s are really not very good for suggesting, because there's no transaction happening. Okay, so maybe RVH and Oxley H still okay. Okay, of course, you can select as many as 10 projects, and from here there is a shortcut. You see this button here, compare selected project. If you click on this, this will bring you to a shortcut to the tool called compare. Okay, so over here, the projects that you have selected, just now I selected RVH and Oxley H, right, would be automatically added to the portfolio. So instead of typing it in, it will be added into the portfolio for you. Of course, if you choose, if you want to add in more projects manually, okay, so these two are based on D9, 10, 11, whatever filters that I put in shortlist, right? But still, my client said, I still want to consider Pandan Valley. You can still add it in manually. It need not be in the same vicinity or location. Okay, so everything else is the same. Of course, you will need to readjust this accordingly. Okay, and then you can refresh portfolio, and have your comparison chart. Okay, so just take note, the only thing is if you do come to compare, because just now I have Benjamin asking about the size, right? So if let's say just now over here I have put in a size, remember when you go over to compare, please also put in the size. If not, it will be reset to the original setting of all sizes. Okay. Now I see some more questions. Let's see. Can you show how to set landmark to location? Cannot. Why? Because today's topic is on shortlist. I overrun already. Okay, but maybe what you can do is, I don't know which agency you're from, look for your account manager, ask them to give you the link for last week's session. Okay, because it was just last week, it will take quite a while for the new session to be in place. Okay, so ask them for the last week's session. They will give you the link. Okay, and you'll be able to know how to use location scan. Okay. If not, I will have to teach all the tools and then I will overrun. Okay, so this is shortlist projects. One more thing I need to cover is the other one called shortlist transactions. Okay, what is the difference? So when I shortlist transactions, what I am trying to do here is to find out the transactions that happen based on the time period that I selected for the property type that I selected, and based within the district that I have selected. Okay, so everything else is the same. Of course, I can put in all the other filters, but when I click on shortlist transactions, you can see what we are doing here is, so let's say we look at July 2020, right? So I know that in July 2020, there were 184 transactions in District 9, 10, and 11, because that's what I selected earlier, okay? And you can also see the change. I know when I mouse over, it becomes a bit dark. But the change is basically a month-to-month change. So if you look at June to July, okay, 142 transactions, but in July it became 184. So in this case, there was an increase in transactions by 29.6%. Okay, that's how you read it. For transaction value, basically it is the total number of transactions and the prices that they were transacted at, everything add up. Okay, and the same thing to read the percentage change is from June it's 385 million. Okay, July it's 476 million. So in total there was an increase in value of 23.6%. Okay, so the same thing goes for the other for average price as well. Okay, all these you can further click down or drill down to actually see the projects or the transactions that happen in the month, okay, based on project breakdown. Okay, so by default, so just now I click on July 2020. So in July 2020, the project with the most number of transactions is Copa, which is from District 9. Okay, so you can see the breakdown again by transaction value, minimum, average, and maximum price. And you can also click further on it to see the actual transactions that happen for that month. Okay, so down to unit number, what property type, apartment or condo, the tenure, new sale, sub-sale or resale, the unit size, strata or landed, per square foot, and quantum. Okay, so you'll be able to further zoom down here. If you want to, you can also print this table into PDF format by clicking on this red button on the top. Okay, so this is another function that you can use shortlist for. Now, over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to toggle back to the slides, and I want to show you some other things that you can do using shortlist and compare. Okay, and then after that we'll move on to the quiz. Okay, so back to the slides. I think I've gone through most of this already. Okay, so you can, this is under compare. You can have up to 10 projects, okay, but recommended 3 to 5. Yeah, just some screenshots. So the only thing is, if you change it to HDB property type, the district will become HDB town, okay? And then you can also scan for other things like MOP, TOP, SSD. How do you do that? Let me show you. Okay, so example, if you want to find out, okay, which condo apartment is reaching their TOP soon, you can do something like that. Okay, we based on the time period where they take about 3 years to build. Okay, so and then you only zoom into new sales, and then we put the age 0 to 1. So that's how we work backwards to get the kind of info that you want to achieve. Okay, so this is one of it. Anyway, for these slides, if you'd like to have them, please get it from your account managers. Okay. You can also say that I want to know which condo with the shoebox units have the best rental yield. So in this case, you need to set the size 0 to 500. Okay. So some other filters here. So these are just some examples. You can also try to find units that are reaching their SSD. So same thing, we will work backwards. SSD is 3 years, right? To complete the SSD period. So we will look for transactions that happened 3 years ago. And then from there, you can actually target these units. Okay. You can also, okay, find out which BTO has reached their MOP by selecting HDB, by selecting the HDB town, okay, and then you put the age 0 to 5, because after 5 years, MOP met, right? So this is one way. Of course, we have another tool called HDB MOP that the database is slightly different, okay? So you can try that out as well. Before we move on, before we go away, okay, we have the last 7 minutes. I would like you guys to join me for a quiz, okay? So usually at the end of each session, I will have a 5 questions quiz, which will allow you to refresh your memory a little bit on what we went through today, and also to give you guys some prizes lah. So the top 5 winners, you will walk away with a TWGT gift set, something like that. Okay. I don't know if it's a set or just one tea bag. Okay, I think it should be more than one tea bag. Okay, so what you need to do, go to menti.com. So you can see my screen right here. Menti.com. Let me just toggle to that screen. Okay, so I need you guys to go to menti.com. Okay, and key in the code 61480. Okay, I see some more questions. I'll come to that. Let me close the other things. Okay, where to find shortlist transactions? Okay, Pearlyn, if you go to Tools, Shortlist, Projects, and Transaction, okay, the first filter here by default is Project. So you just need to change it to Transaction. All the other filters are the same. It's just that instead of finding projects and finding out how they are performing, okay, we zoom into the transactions that happen for that district that you have selected. So you just need to toggle to transaction here. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So without further ado, let's do our quiz right now. Very fun one, if you haven't tried it before. Trying to upsell my quiz. Okay. Of course, I mean, so far, I think most people enjoy this quiz, unless, of course, they get kicked out due to lack of internet connection or that kind of thing. But most importantly is really to make sure that you're on the right track, okay, and hopefully you can win a prize lah. Okay, so now compared to a long time ago when we started it, there were a lot of people on board, so harder to win, now easier to win. And then another thing is, so remember, you select the icon, you put your nickname. At the end of it, please take a screenshot of your, if let's say you are our top 5 winners, please take a screenshot of your own screen with your nickname, your points, and and your icon so that we will be able to verify and send you your price, okay? So for those of you who are a bit lost here, please open another window, another device, and go to this website called menti.com. Put in the code 61480, okay? So I'm going to get started now. And 5 questions. If you are fast and accurate, you get more points. So this is on the tool called Compare. How many projects can you compare at one go? I think I repeat a few times. So please get it right. Okay, let's see. We have, okay, most of you got it right. Well done. Up to 10, okay? You can put up to 10 projects. It can be manually keyed in, or if you are bringing the project names from Shortlist, okay, you want to use both, you will have to check box at the side and then compare shortlisted project, the red color button on the top, okay? So maximum up to 10. We have 11 people who got it right, but of course, let's see who is leading right now. So if you got it right and your answer is very fast, okay, you get more points also. So now leading we have Ray-Ban, Joanne, Lena, and Joanna, okay, and Tina, okay, 5 of you guys. Well done. Now there's still room to win one, because 5 questions. Okay. Now if you remember, if I want to compare landed properties, what can I key in? Can I key in project name, street name, estate name, or this is like the primary school, A plus B, A and C, all of the above. Okay, and who is correct? Wow, 3 of you got it right, very good. So for landed, we only allow you to compare by project name or estate name, okay? Street name, why cannot? Because sometimes along the street, very small street only got 1 or 2 landed property, and it's very hard to compare in this manner. If let's say the street only got 1 transaction, what's there to compare? So usually we would look at estate where there's multiple streets within the estate, or by project name, usually is within 1 compound, okay? So only for HDB, you put in the block plus the street name. Okay, so we got the 3 who got it right, Ray-Ban, Perlin, and Sheila. Now the 3 of you are leading, followed by Joanne and Lena. Okay. Shortlist allows me to identify projects and transactions by which method? Okay, do I look for projects and transactions in the district, the location or vicinity, or both? And the answer is yo. all by all of the above. So for shortlist, you can only identify by district or HDB town. Okay. For location and vicinity, you need to use the tool called location scan. Okay. So let's see who is leading right now. Dun, dun, dun. Who's the one who got it right? Woohoo, Joanne! Okay, so Joanne is now second. First is Ray-Ban, Perlin, and then there's Sheila and Lena. Okay. Okay, next question. I can identify which unit reaching the end of SSD using shortlist. Is it true or not? Did I mention anything about SSD just now? And the answer is true. Okay, most of you got it right. So even though I didn't do a sample going through the entire process, but in the slides there is one that allows you to identify the units reaching SSD by setting the number of years. Okay, so we look at transactions 3 years ago. Okay, let's see any changes to my leaderboard. Okay. Now we have Pearline on the top, Joanne, Sheila, Ray-Ban, and Lena. Okay, I think left one or two more questions. Yeah, let's see if you have a chance to be in the top 5. So the following are key performance indicators in Shortlist, except, so everything that you can rank by or in the header, all those things, all those different indicators. Do you remember any of it which is not inside or not? Wow, all got wrong. I seem here. I already say these are key performance indicators except. So if you refer back, okay, if you refer back, all the headers here, okay, let me use, I should show you transaction. Okay, here. So all these can be found here except for price trend. Trend, how to show you in this way, right? Okay, so the answer is trend. Nobody got it right, alamak. Okay, so my winner, Pearline, well done. Please take a screenshot of your own screen. We have second, Joanne, Sheila, Ray-Ban, and Lena, the top 5 of you. Please take a screenshot of your own screen, your own nickname or name, your icon, and your points, and send it to us. Okay, you can send it to us. We will put the details in the live chat. Okay, please send me. Okay, send to Sherry. Okay, Sherry, what's your number? Send to who? Okay, please send to her your screenshot and your address, everything, and we'll send you your TWG gift set. Woohoo! Okay, of course, if you have any more questions, please reach out to your respective account managers. They will be able to assist you. If not, if you really find that your question is so difficult, you need to have a one-on-one session with me, please book a slot for Ask the Trainer. Okay, so with that, thank you everyone. I hope you pick up something from today's session, and I will see you guys next week. Okay, so I'll see you guys next week, next Wednesday, same time. I can't remember what's the next topic. I think it is HDB MOP. Okay, so if you're a HDB agent, don't miss HDB MOP. Very, very useful. So see you next week. So remember to register lah. Okay, bye bye.